later on Tuesday afternoon, the Serve Pro First Responder Bowl. If you weren't excited about that game, at least you have Texas State Rice. Texas State games are at least pretty wild. This will be played in Dallas, Texas. Texas State's a 5.5-point favorite, over under 58.5. Big news here for Rice, which doesn't really have anyone in the portal. Getting 6-6 important for them, playing in Dallas. They should care. Texas State, I think both of these teams should care, and they should have close to their full rosters at least. But Rice doesn't have quarterback. JT Daniels, who had to medically retire, which means AJ Padgett will most likely start. You could get some reps from Jenkins, their third string as well. Mm-hmm. Texas State Rice. Texas State is a wild team to try and handicap. They have some crazy results. We talked about the 77-31 win over Texas State. They beat South Alabama 52-44 to close out the regular season. What do you see here between Texas State and Rice with another backup quarterback?
I do like Texas State here. TJ Finley made an announcement that his decision on his future will be made after the bowl game. Now, hopefully that doesn't change. He gets an agent and changes his mind. Who knows? But he had a great TD to INT ratio this year, 24-9. The biggest factor for Texas State is slot wide receiver Joey Hobart. Most targets, 91, and by far the most explosive on this team, 2.6 yards per route run. Now, left guard.
He missed the finale for what it's worth.
Yeah. So we'll see if he's healthy here, but that would certainly, put a little damper on the explosiveness that Texas State has. Now, also keep an eye on left guard Dorian Strawn and injury watch. There are two other linemen that had significant snaps at left guard, so I'm not as worried about the offensive line. Now, offensive, for Texas State, 55% run, very successful in standard downs, 15th in success rate, and it's really all Ismail Mahadi. 10 TDs on the season, 3.6 yards after contact, 38 runs of at least 10 yards. He is a rocket version, a living version of a rush explosive. Texas State uses heavy inside zone, high success rate. They create explosives on 15% of attempts in inside zone. Rice is fantastic against inside zone, 60% success rate in stopping it. And they only allow explosives in 5% of attempts. So if Rice is good at stopping Mahidi from creating explosives, this comes down to TJ Finley throwing, which I go back, Joey Hobart, most targets on the team for Texas State, most explosive player. It is very important that he plays because Rice is going to be able to stop the Texas State rush. Now, Finley was above average success rate against quarters, which is what Rice uses. This makes, Hobart even more important in the slot, because if you know anything about quarters, a little bit of man at the front, they play zone in the back, try to confuse you, but you can get it on an underneath route. So I can't even talk about how important, Joey Hobart is to this Texas State offense. Now, when you go to the other side, AJ Padgett he doesn't have any explosiveness to his running, to his throwing. Very poor in his final two games. Look at who Rice played. Charlotte, Florida Atlantic. AJ Padgett had one big-time throw and 6 turnover-worthy plays. He was god-awful against two teams that didn't even get close to sniffing bowl games. Owls' passing game really struggled against cover one. Texas State veers between cover one, cover three. Havoc is a huge issue here for the offense. They're outside the top 100 in Havoc allowed, and this is why I put money down. I have put it in the app for Texas State. Havoc allowed is a consistent issue with Rice. They're outside the top 100. Texas State is top 20 in creating defensive havoc. I was kind of shocked that Texas State's defense is the reason that I made this bet. Florida Atlantic, think about this last game that Rice Owls had against Florida Atlantic. Florida Atlantic generated 15 pressures and 11 quarterback hurries in the season finale against AJ Padgett. Texas State is 15th in pass rush, top 30 in cumulative pressures on the season. Texas State's the play based on the defense alone. If Joey Hobart plays, it makes him more explosive. I would feel even more comfortable with my bet. But based on the defense and havoc and getting in the backfield and how bad AJ Padgett has been his final two games, this is Texas State for me.